Hey Unbounders, welcome to part 2 of our divorce series. This title or this topic is called the breadcrumb dynamic. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, for those of you who are experiencing it, give me 10 minutes and you're going to feel very familiar with what I'm about ready to share with you. So in our last episode, in the first one that we talked about in the divorce series, we talked about 3 things. We answered the question of, why did you get married? Right? Was it because, so many of us answer, because I loved him. You did? Good for you. You can love so many people. I have no doubt that you can do that. But did he or she love you? And really, what does that mean? So love is a very interesting thing. Is it a feeling? Is it how someone shows up for you? Is it real intimacy over time? I think it's so many of those things. The second question we asked ourselves was, what's your non-negotiables? Like when you're in a relationship, what will you not compromise on? And you need to be really clear about that before you get involved, or you need to figure it out really quick. For me, it's trust, communication, and respect. And the third thing we asked was, do you feel safe? And that's mentally, emotionally, and physically. So you should have done a little bit of homework on that. This is Unbound in 10. That means that this is going to be a 10-minute episode or roughly thereat. And this is your opportunity to pause, give yourself some power, and feel unbound in 10 minutes. So the breadcrumb dynamic. So here's what that is. Have you ever been in a relationship? Don't even have to be married, but have you ever been in a relationship or a marriage where you're like, wow, they did just enough to keep me? And had they done just a little bit more, I would have stayed. That breadcrumb dynamic, so that is like the just enough phenomenon. That means it's a little homage to Hansel and Gretel here, right? So I will do just enough to keep you with me. It's that cycle of temporary hope and disappointment. And let's be very clear, hope is one of the most powerful 4-letter words you can say. And I know some good 4-letter words. I'm telling you that hope takes the crown and all the glory, because without it, right? So it's definitely part of the plan. You always have to have hope, no matter where you are in life. It's so powerful. And when you have no more hope, you're done. And sometimes our significant others count on that because they know we are hopeful. They know we are forgiving. They know we believe in them. They know we give chances. They know how we value family and we want everyone together. And most importantly, and this is really most importantly, they count on your forgiveness. And you think you're being a really great partner every time you forgive and every time you give chances because you believe in their potential. That is also so powerful. You bought into someone's potential and not who they showed you who they were the first time. You need to believe them the first time they show you who they are. You don't give the benefit. It's not about, well, I did this and I did that and he or she didn't really mean that and blah, blah, blah. And they're really trying and they admit when they're wrong. How many of you are sitting in the car going, yep. Or sitting at home going, yep. Right? So you give them all these chances. They count on that. But by the way, it just erodes your own self-worth. And moreover, it actually erodes their self-respect for you. You don't know that that's happening and you don't think that that's happening, but it is. You think you're being a really great partner. They don't. They're counting on you to continue to forgive them. And you look at all of these things about them, right? You're like, but their intentions are good and he or she is really trying and they're willing to go to therapy with me. Of course they are. That's part of the breadcrumbing. They will do just enough to show you that you matter. Just enough. But it's that you will learn and you will see that cycle of heartbreak. It's like recycled heartbreak. You think and you kind of level set that things are going to be different. You think, this time, here we are, we've made it. He or she gets me. Like, they've promised. They've promised me that they understand and they're going to do differently. So from this moment forward, the marriage or the relationship is going to be different. And you kind of hum along and you're going and you're cruising and you're feeling good about it. And then all of a sudden it starts all over again. And you have these feelings of, why am I not enough? Why, when you promised, am I not enough? It's so easy to make it about you when it's really about them. But I have 3 very important questions I want to ask you. Number 1, why do you stay? Is it because you think, well, I've invested so much time, right? I've done all this work. Indeed, you have. I have no doubt that you have done so much work in that relationship. Whereas he or she is just kind of coasting and counting on your forgiveness. It's such a great ride for them. Okay, so why do you stay? Is it easier to stay with what's familiar and what you know versus all of what feels like the upheaval is of divorce? Do you feel like you already have children with them and you can't take their father or their mother from them and you would be blamed? I want to tell you something. Even if you are the one that makes the final decision that the relationship is over, listen to me. You did not get there on your own. You might be the one who pulls the plug in the boat, the leaking boat. You might be the one that says, and scene, we're over. Everybody out. Everybody out. The boat's been sinking for a very long time. I know you're all going to look at me and blame me. Go right ahead. You can do that for right now. It's been sinking and you just got exhausted from bailing the water out. So why do you stay? Children, right? You believed in somebody's potential. You don't have the money for divorce. Are you in a situation where he or she pays for everything and you don't think you can do it on your own, right? So that's one thing. My second question for you is, do you constantly say to yourself as you're buying and giving them so many chances, do you say to yourself, okay, as soon as we pay off this loan and as soon as we get to here or as soon as this happens, we're going to be happy because he or she is so stressed and I just have to cut them some slack and give them some grace, right? Because we're really struggling and it's really hard and they don't mean to have that temper or they don't mean to not be honest. If you're always looking to be happy when something else is going to come to fruition, that ain't the way. That isn't it. And I'm going to tell you, even when you get there, it still won't be any different. My third question for you is, while you're breadcrumbing and while it's just enough, I want you to ask yourself why you don't deserve the full meal. And I don't mean a happy meal. You deserve a seat at the table. You know what you bring. And don't be afraid to eat alone. We've all read that somewhere. So, why your self-worth, your agency, your possibility, all those are things that you really need to examine. And by the way, I mentioned just a little bit ago about going to therapy. There's this interesting phenomenon sometimes that happens when you get there. And you and your significant other can be sitting there telling a story. And you tell the story the way you remember it. And he or she looks at you and they're like, that's not what happened. And you're like, yeah, it is. I said this, I said that. This is what you said. And they are clear as day that you have got it all wrong. And you think you're losing your mind. Sometimes when people get into therapy, their memory is extremely selective, as you can imagine, and they don't want to look bad. So sometimes it's intentional. I'm thoroughly convinced it's intentional. And other times they truly believe their own lies. They are sitting there and without a doubt, they would swear on all kinds of things that they are telling the truth and nothing but the truth. And when you start to think you're losing your mind, that's a little bit of gaslighting, right? So you got to be willing, when you go to therapy, you got to be willing to look bad. And when I say look bad, that means being vulnerable, and that goes on both sides. So if your partner's just going with you to check a box, you're not going to get anything from it. In fact, you're going to argue about therapy on the way home. That's a fun thing to do. Well, why did you say that? I don't know. Why did you say, I can't believe you said that in front of him? That's not good. So in our next podcast series on divorce, the third one coming up, we're going to talk about fear versus freedom. So what does that really look like? Are you afraid? Are you afraid of being free? Are you afraid on what's on the other side in the unknown? How do you know when you're really at that end? And how do you break it to the family and the kids? That's all coming up. Don't miss out. Subscribe to our YouTube channel here so you never miss anything, or dial into ChristineForeman.com. You can always listen to the podcast there. And remember, be bold, be brave, be unapologetically you, and be unbound. Foreman out.